Curry Robinson, which is a law firm here in downtown Lakewood. So if one of your cases is called and you have an open case with my firm, please just let me know. I don't want you to talk about your case. I don't want you to violate any attorney-client privilege you may have. But just let me know so that I may need to, if I need to conflict off of it. Okay? So,
Is that all you do on these hires? Is not your hire?
I don't know, but I can talk louder. How's that? Or you can move up. Or you can move up, you know. So before we get started, I would ask that everybody please silence your cell phones. And let's see. There are two ways that we're going to address your cases this morning. The first is called summary disposition. Summary disposition is available for those of you who are not in repeat violation. It helps to speed things along and speed up the process, so we'll do that first. However, if you do have a repeat violation, then we will call your cases after the summary disposition is finished, and you will have an opportunity to have your cases heard for myself, and I will render a judgment and give you either the appropriate fine or the appropriate amount of time to come into compliance. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Let's go ahead and get started then. Madam Clerk.
You want to explain the summary disposition, how it works?
Sure. For summary disposition, it's, as I said, for those of you who aren't disputing that there's a violation, you just need more time to comply. If you need extra time to comply, the potential fine if you don't come into compliance is going to be $30 per day for each day of non-compliance. And that's better. That's actually a better price. Otherwise, it would be $50 per day. So it's in your best interest economically and financially to go ahead and come into compliance. These are hard times for everybody.
Hey, you want to go ahead and swear people in?
Sure.
If you have
We're going to go ahead and do the summary dispositions first. If you'll just have a seat, we will go ahead and call everybody's up one by one, and then you can be on your way. Sure.
If you have a case, can you please stand and raise your right hand? You affirm the testimony you're about to give is truth and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
If you want to take summary, you can come and line up in front of the hearing officer.
If you have a case today and you don't dispute the fact that you're in violation, you agree that you are in violation, but you just need more time to comply, then go ahead and come forward, line up right here, and we'll go ahead and address those cases first. If you dispute the fact that you're in violation, then just stay seated and we'll address your cases after this. So just come over here.
They should all have their case number. Oh, perfect. And the last, and the address and case number.
Alright, so the first is on page number 24. And ma'am, Virginia Garcia is the owner of the property. The property address is 1500 West Highland Street, number 80. And hearing officer, I don't want to butcher your name, I'm so sorry. Nate?
It's Jody. It's Jody. Jody Nate. He's the building official.
And so, let's see.
Jody's not here. Jody stepped in for Jody. 60 days would be fine.
Ben, do you think you can come into compliance within 6 days?
Yes, I was just waiting a letter from our engineer, because that was the city wasn't concerned, he was just waiting a letter, because I already said I was ready. If you want to see it.
I need you to sign this form. Just need your signature on the bottom.
Give her 1 second to finish.
Thank you, have a great day. Thank you, have a great day. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready.
Next is also on page number 24. Owner's name is Orlando Hernandez, Mr. Hernandez. And the property address is 1308 East Myrtle Street. And same officer. Are you still, what's your recommendation, sir?
60 days.
Same thing. I will give you 60 days to come into compliance. So that would be March 9th. Okay.
I just need a signature. I just need a signature at the bottom. Okay. Okay, order in the mail. We're gonna order in the mail. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. How are you? Let's see. All right. The next case is on page number 15. Mr. Locke is the owner at 1111 Gilmore Avenue. And the code enforcement officer is Stephen Willis for the violations as stated in the affidavit. Officer Willis, what is your recommendation?
We need to find out what his relationship is with the company or business. If he's under a business name, under LLC. If he's a tenant, he can't sign.
Sir, how are you? I have the owner as DSV.
I'm on a lease option. My wife's uncle, I was in it with him. He abandoned the property. He took everybody, which is drug dealers. It took me until the 1st of November to evict them. And I'm just waiting to get the eviction through the county.
Are you listed as a property owner anywhere?
Yeah.
You are?
As far as I'm not option, I'm buying the property.
Okay.
I would think that because it's the owner, according to the property appraiser, is listed as an LLC,
Yeah, it's a leasing company in North Carolina.
then you're not affiliated with that company. You're just trying to buy it through
I have
their,
been
yeah.
for 7 years, been in this contract with them. And like I said, my wife's uncle, I co-signed with him. He abandoned the property and they contacted me and I took up all the responsibility of making the payment. The police department, when they had issues with it, called me.
Yeah. What I would suggest is that I don't think he can legally sign for the LLC because he's not legally affiliated with it. There's no reason why you couldn't impose the same deadline and the same fine amount as you would as if it were a summary disposition. I just don't think he can sign for it.
I'm pleased that you're willing to take responsibility for it and clean it up, so.
I have been working on it. I asked about, they did a lot of damage to this property, but windows, they trashed it out. Even the federal board said he wasn't real sure about even entering the property.
We're gonna have to hear the case and then she can make the ruling on.
That's like an absent respondent type case. And
Trying to replace everything that they stole.
No, you're fine. Listen, you're in my book. So what you're saying, we can't do summary dispo, we have to do.
I think essentially we do the same deadline, the same fine amount as you would as if it were a summary disposition, but he just can't sign the form. And
So he'll have to just wait and he can call his case first.
I can contact them, make sure that, they can work with me, they send anybody to me to talk to me and contact them.
yeah, I mean, they could probably give you some kind of off affidavit of authority or something, but it's a little late for that now. But we're gonna basically, sounds like we're gonna just treat it like the same, but it's just a kind of a formality.
I just can't do it in summary dispo, so if you don't mind having a seat, I'll file your case first. when we do the hearing portion of it. Is that it? Summary disposition? Summary disposition. Everyone else that's sitting is disputing their violation, is that correct? Well. Mr. Locke, I'm sorry, Mr. Locke, I'm sorry to make you get up and sit down, but come on back. Come on back. All right, again, just for the record, I have Mr. Locke appearing in front of me. The owner of the property is DSV SPV3 LLC, which is a limited liability corporation. The property address is 1111 Gilmore Avenue. For the violations as stated in the affidavit. My understanding from the hearing officers, we're allowing until March 9th for them to come into compliance, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I'll read the case if you'd like.
All right. You have until March 9th to come into compliance with the property. Thank you for being here and for taking care of the property. I appreciate it.
You did that for both cases, ma'am? There's two cases. There's one on page 16 at the very top, along with the one on 15.
Yes, is that your recommendation? Is that your recommendation?
Yes, ma'am, for both of them. Give them until March 9th, 2021.
Just further, let me read into the record then. The second case
Sure.
is LCE 2004178, same property address, 1111 Gilmore Avenue. There's also given until March 9th to come into compliance. Thank you.
You want me-
Thank you.
You'll get an order in the mail, so you just, you don't have to do anything, just have to sign the form.
And the fine amount for the record, are you gonna keep it at 30?
Yes.
Do you want to write your address down?
For the record, if you, for whatever reason, are not into compliance, it will be $30 per day.
Have a great day. So we'll call the cases that we have a sticky.
Next I have on page 2, the owner I have Harmon Wayne Holding Limited, but I have Mr. Wyatt present. And I have hearing officer Perry. Mr. Perry?
Christian Perry, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 19-09346. Property address is 838 East Peachtree Street. The owner is Harmon Wang Holding Limited. Violations for ordinance 3947. Did a violation January 6, 2020, to be corrected by March 6, 2020. Reinspection on March 9, 2020 shows that the violation still exists. There's been no photos and no call for inspection. At this time, the city recommends compliance by March 9, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I'm sorry, what was the fine?
$50 per day.
All right, Mr. Myatt, you are the property owner, is that correct?
No, I'm a property manager for Chartered Course Realty, which is the property management firm for the Harmon Wang Holding Company.
Okay, go ahead and make your case.
So basically, the code violations were fairly simple, and we've had these for a long time. When we went to do repairs to pull a permit to work on these code violations, they couldn't get the permit because it turns out sometime in the past, this house was converted this house was converted to a fourplex without proper permitting. So that was someone else in the Lakeland department that we couldn't pull a permit until we went through rezoning for that property, which means hiring an architect. So we have an architectural firm ready to go, about a $30,000 fee just for the architect to get the city to issue the permits, to fix these violations, and there's gonna be other stuff that we'll have to do, I'm sure, to bring it to code as a fourplex. So that's where we're at. We're ready to start with the architect, just trying to find out if there's, we have to pull a permit, whether we leave it a fourplex or take it back to a single family. We'd like to leave it at the fourplex, because that's the way it is currently.
I guess I have a follow-up questions. Do you have any sort of a date on the books for the rezoning?
Yeah, I don't know how long it's gonna take the city to do the rezoning. I have the architect's proposal here, we're ready to go with him.
Have you applied for the rezoning? That's what I'm asking. I guess that's what I'm asking.
I got a notice of a hearing here, 6 weeks ago, but they had their own time on it. So I showed up for a 1 o'clock hearing instead of a 9 o'clock hearing. So this is a reschedule. I'm just trying to find out if, we spend $30,000, if we're gonna be able to go ahead and apply to have that rezoned.
On that note, they had a permit case as well from the property being brought to a fourplex permit without a permit. It's been open since December 4th of 2017. So we're just over 3 years that that's been an active case of when they were notified that this is a fourplex, and nothing's been done since then.
May I see, let me see your architects.
We only found out about the inability to pull permit, recently. That's the proposal from the architect.
Okay, if he's gonna have to, if he's gonna talk, he's gonna have to talk down here so it goes on. Right.
They can't pick up your voice. I'll bring this. That's okay. Go ahead and stand back at the podium.
I can take it back to when you're done with it.
Thank you.
We only recently found out about the zoning problem when we went to get the permit to fix the code violations.
How long have you been the property manager?
I don't know how long the company's been the property manager. I've been with the firm a year. So the initial code violations we got didn't seem to be, that big a deal to repair or fix until we had problems with the permitting.
All right. Seems like this is just a snowball, a problem that just keeps getting through no fault of the property management's own, maybe initially. The hearing officer is suggesting to give you 60 days. Looking at the proposal by the architect that's dated October 26, 2020. We're now in 2021, but I'm going to give you the opportunity until April 8th to get this moving, to get it re-permitted and corrected. It seems like you're at least taking some initiative. So you have 90 days to come into compliance, or at least show some progress.
We'll go ahead and hire him as long as it appears that we're, moving in the right direction.
Very good, okay. Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
And for the record, after that 90 days, it's April 8th, it's a $50 fine imposed per day for every day of non-compliance afterwards. Okay, good. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Next I have page three, and it looks like this is Officer Dozier, and I have Jules, I'm gonna butcher your last name, but is it French? is it French? Gucci? Gucci? Like Gucci? Like the designer? Excellent. Excellent. All right, Officer Dozier. Go ahead.
Andrew Dozer, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-01141. The address is 513 Pear Street. The owner is Jules Gucci for violations of interior and exterior. The date of violation was February 19, 2020, to be corrected by 4/19/2020. Reinspection on 11/2020, and then a follow-up on 1/4/2021 showed the property was still in violation. At this time, the city recommends compliance by 1/15/2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed. One.
The 15th.
My apologies. The city would recommend compliance by 3/9/2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
All right, Mr. Gucci, go ahead. You're saying that I guess you're disagreeing with the non-compliance, is that right?
Oh, actually, that's my first time hearing about this case, so I didn't know about it.
Have you been, were you notified, are you saying that you weren't notified back in February of 2020 about this violation?
No, I never received the letter. Maybe they sent it, but I never received the letter from them.
Do you understand the violations that the city is stating that needs to be corrected?
I've seen the picture, but I don't really understand it now, but I'll probably have to get a more description of what needs to be done. Don't really know what needs to be fixed.
Officer Dozier, are you willing to work with Mr. Gucci so he can understand how he can come into compliance?
Absolutely, I can give him my card after we're done, and I can meet him at the property, schedule an appointment to do a walkthrough, so I can point those things out to him.
Okay. So are you willing to work together so that your property can come into compliance?
Yes, definitely.
All right, excellent. Then, do you think you can do this by March 9th? That's 60 days.
I can try, but if I can get more time, it would be better. I can definitely try to get it. I will try to get it done.
That'll give you more than a year since the first time the city has at least alleged that there was a violation. So I'm going to give you until March 9th to come to compliance. There will be a $50 per day fine for every day afterwards that you're not into compliance. But after you're done, go ahead and get with Officer Dozier, get with his information, and that way you guys can work together, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk, are you ready? Do you need a minute? Are you good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're on page 9 now.
The next case I have is on page 9. The property owner as Angelo Aggregate Materials Limited, with Code Enforcement Officer Angela Kaiser. Officer Kaiser, go ahead when you're ready.
Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-02502, address 1880 Fairbanks Street. Owner is Angelo's Aggregate Materials Ltd. Violations of Section 86(3) for dirt fill that center on the streets and alleys prohibited in Section 90-1A for objects within the public right-of-way. The date of the violation was June 12, 2020, to be corrected by June 24, 2020. Reinspection November 4, 2020, and photos taken on December 7, 2020 show that violations remain. At this time, the city would recommend compliance by May 8, 2021, or a $50 per day fine would be imposed.
I'm sorry, you said May 8th, correct?
Yes.
Good morning, sir. Would you please state your name for the record?
Neiro Derubes,
Can you spell that for me?
Neiro. Last name is D-E space capital R-U-B-E-I-S.
All right. And, sir, do you think that you can come into compliance with this by May 8th of this year?
Yeah, actually, I think we keep it in compliance. I just wanted to get up here for the records and kind of state that there was a lack of communication between what Officer Angela had relayed to the scale girl, and by the time it got to our person in the office, he made a phone call to our supervisor. Our supervisor made one phone call to Angela, never followed up. I got involved probably around December when I met Angela on site, and at that point, we immediately cleaned it out, and, you know, some of these pictures you see there are that stock on the actual inlet. We're currently, every 6 months, we replace that, we clean it out. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of people that work in the yard, so the person that takes care of the yard couldn't get on the water truck or the sweeper to get out there and take care of it. But we've since instituted different areas and avenues for the gentleman that works the loader, who works the yard, to be able to keep it clean. So we're currently doing that at this point. And I just wanted to just come on record and say that, you know, these are the issues that, it's an ongoing issue, and unfortunately it happened the way it did, but we've taken care of it since then, and I think Angela can probably attest to that. That we've cleaned out the curb, and that's not ours, unfortunately. That's the continuation of the road construction for the city of Lakeland, and there's going to be a road realignment, so there's going to be a whole year of mud and dirt and debris going onto that road in and out. We'll try to keep our side clean, but I just want to go on the record saying that, you know, there's other factors involved in that, but, you know, we'll stay on top of it. Now that I have Angela as a contact person, if she has any problems, she can directly call me, and I'll take care of whatever issues are on site.
Excellent. Officer Dozier, do you have anything to add?
I will concur with what he said, that since I've been in communication with him, there have been changes made. The reason that we are giving the extended amount of time is because part of the issue has to do with during the dry season, the dust that gets kicked up from the property while they're doing their normal business causes big dust clouds that affect neighboring properties. That's what we received complaints about. So we wanted to extend this deadline so that we can continue to make sure that the improvements that they've currently made are going to hold through the dry season, so as to not close it and then have to reopen it. We wanted to make sure that we could get it all corrected in one fell swoop if possible. But it looks like with Nero, on top of things, it looks like they will be able to comply.
Very good. And just so that I'm clear, because it sounded like it started from a lapse in communication. You have his contact information and you have hers. Very good. All right, very good. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. We will go ahead and state for the record that the property has until May 8th, 2021 to be in compliance. There would be a $50 per day fine for every day thereafter not in compliance, but it sounds like we've got this worked out. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Next I have on page number 19, I have Officer Berry and owner Ramco HHF Lakeland LLC. I have Mr. Ben Carver appearing on behalf of them. And for the record, I have the property address is 3945 North Road, 98 North, and case number LCE 205015. Page number 19. Good morning, Mr. Carver.
Good morning.
Chris Craig, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland, case LCE 20-05015 3945, North Road 98, owner is Ramco, violation of Chapter 86 for junk, trash, and debris. Date of violation was October 7th, 2020, to be corrected by October 22nd, 2020. Re-inspection on November 10th, 2020, show the violation remains. City recommends compliance by January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine being imposed.
And Mr. Carver, go ahead.
So I'm representing RPT with this. We actually do the contracting, for the cleanup, order service, whatnot. So behind here, there's a Target and the Shops of Lakeland. Right behind there is an apartment complex, and the name is the Loop at Wedgewood. And they have sent a letter in. They have thrown tires. This is just a dumping ground, literally back there. Bags of trash. This is house trash coming from the apartment complex over. So I've become recently involved, and I have gotten Leah Ponte involved, who's the property manager over there. And in November, I went out there, met with Officer Montgomery for Lakeland Police. She went over to the complex, and they sent the tenants over, and they picked up like 15 bags of trash. She's going over every Monday now in her email and checking it for herself or her facility manager. So I think we have the problem pretty much under control now. I could do a re-inspection. I can't remember what the date was, 18th or whatever. That would be fine by me. But we're trying to get this area, there's a transient population as well. The left side of this, they congregate with shopping carts. A lot of times the shopping carts are in the ponds. The trash is spread out between the animals and the transient population. So it's a lot of work to keep it up, and very expensive on our part. But I certainly can work with code enforcement. I can meet out there at any time to make sure we're in compliance. We certainly want to be. So I just need to know at this point what would be the next step.
Actually, I have a question which you may not know the answer to, because it sounds like you're doing your best to clean up perhaps someone else's issue that they've created for you. Is there a way to divide the fine between them and the other complex or the property management?
Well, you're not in this hearing right now. Because we've noticed, we're obligated to notice and give the violator an opportunity to cure the violation before we move on to a legal proceeding. We've noticed the property owner. Typically, we take the position that property owners are responsible for their property, even if the problems are being caused by others. If we had some evidence to show that these folks were, illegally dumping on someone else's property, those types of violations can be criminal in nature. So we can refer that over to LPD to investigate, and they can pursue those things. But at this point in time, we're limited to focusing on this property owner. If they want to work with LPD, they can also potentially get a trespass authorization, and that would give LPD a little bit more tools to help keep the property clean and keep transient folks from going out there. Those are all things that we have to kind of do outside of this.
If I could interject, I've gone over personally, there's a lake there, and I go across and open the bags, pull mail out with the addresses, names, and everything, and that's how Officer Montgomery got involved. Went over there, so there's plenty of evidence. It's house trash, and if we've got to do that, I would just need to know the process.
If I can provide some insight into this, I was in contact with Deidre Middleton, with their property manager. I think we have the issue with the trash being done by the apartment complex solved. Apparently, from what I was told was there was a mother who was sending her kids down to the dumpster to dump the trash, but they were not being honest with her and just throwing it over the wall and coming back to the apartment. So I think that issue has been solved. I haven't seen any of that dumped lately.
the day I took these pictures was the day that the property manager asked me to re-inspect, and I told her it's almost done, everything looks great, except there's just a few things. There's a few pieces of trash scattered here and there, and there's like a couple tires. So I sent her those pictures, and said if you can just get those cleaned up, and then I can close the case. But I never actually got a response back after that. So it was almost in compliance. It was just those few things left, but it was much worse than these pictures.
Good. It looks like we're making progress, and thank you for coming and speaking on behalf of them. Thank you for that additional information. I think you have some ammunition in your back pocket if it ever becomes a problem in the future. I would reach out to either LPD or to Officer Berry, and maybe we can get you help if that continues to be a problem with the transient folks. Otherwise, for this matter, you have until January 18th to have the rest of this into compliance. I'm sure, let's see, 10 days. It's 10 days. Is that okay? Is that enough time? And then, otherwise, a $50 per day fine will be imposed every day thereafter. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Next case I have is on page 21. But Officer Berry is you. Do you need a minute? It's on page 21, and I have the owner that is appearing as Mr. McDonough, and the property address is 1432 Baker Drive. Good morning, Mr. McDonough.
How you doing?
All right, Officer Berry.
Chris Berry, code enforcement officer for the city of Lakeland, LCE -20-05232 at 1432 Baker Drive. Owner is Torian and Patrick McDonough, violation of ordinance 3947, chapter 3 for open storage and junk violation. The date of violation was October 20th, 2020, to be corrected by November 5th, 2020, re-inspection on November 13th, so the violation remains. City recommends compliance by January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Mr. McDonough, go ahead and make your case. Sir.
I can't hear really good. I've been in construction all my life and my hearing's.
I grew up around loud aircraft all my life, so I understand.
Well, I was kind of curious how my house came to be inspected in the first place. This is random inspection, somebody driving down the road goes, oh, look at his house. Or how did that happen?
So, in the city of Lakeland, we take pride in our city, and part of that is making sure that all of our homes, businesses are in compliance or are neat and orderly. That's part of why we pay taxes, right? So these gentlemen and ladies, that's their job to make sure that everything is neat and orderly, and more importantly, safe. Looks like your violations are for open storage, or basically just junk or trash that has been left open and out. Are you denying that that is the case at your house?
This stuff on my porch, in order to see it, you have to get binoculars or zoom into my porch to see it. My porch is enclosed with screen. You can't really see it from the road and where I'm at. You can't really see this stuff unless you zoom in on it like this picture is. My house literally sits back from the street, probably to the other side of the other wall over there. From where the street is and where my house is, in order to see these things, you have to sit there. If you just drive by my house, you won't see none of it. And oftentimes, that's okay. But you can't just see it riding by my house. Because it's screened in. Oftentimes, I have plants that are growing in front of there. you can't see most of this stuff from the street, without sitting there and zooming in on it. But I wanted to say this, most of the stuff I have, I reappropriate things, you might say. None of it is actually garbage or trash. It's just things I don't have any room to put anywhere else because I can't put them inside my house. I have plans in the future. I really want to put a garage up at the end of my driveway where this current tent is at. I just can't do it currently. There is a right next to where this tent is erected. There's a telephone pole, and it kind of impedes where I want to put a garage. So I have to see about getting. I want to call. I haven't had the opportunity to do it yet, but I want to call the power company, and see about getting the power line ran underground so that I can have that pole removed, so that I can have a garage put up there instead of having the carport. In part of the thing, it said I had a derelict vehicle in the car in my yard. It's not derelict. The cars in my yard are all they all run, they all move. Even the trailers I have all function. They're not junk. As far as the things I got on my porch, I can move them to a different location.
I think one of the privilege of living in the city and incorporated, right, is we get like wonderful things like trash service, street sweeping. But then with that comes the responsibility to keep your property up. Otherwise, we can live in the country where I live, and then that's fine.
May I show you a picture that I took from the street?
It's fine. It doesn't matter to me whether it's from the street or not. As long as you can come into compliance, the city is recommending until January 18th. I'm going to give you 30 days until February 7th. I don't see why it's not that much to remove. And may I just make a suggestion that it's a cheaper alternative to building a garage as one of those sheds that's much cheaper and would not involve
I try not to make excuses, but to just state the facts. I work a 50-hour work week. I leave at 5:30 in the morning. I don't get home till 7 oftentimes because I work in regular. The only times I really have to work on my yard and things, one are in the evening time, but when this time of year, it's dark when I get home. It's dark when I leave. It's dark when I get home. Every weekend I make sure that I am doing my best to keep things cleaned up and to make things presentable, because I want them to be presentable too. I don't want my neighbors to look at me and go, man, your yard is trash. I don't want that, and I get along well with my neighbors. I try to help them as much as I can. My neighbor that's in front of me, I actually had the tree removed from his backyard because it was dead and he couldn't afford to do it. So I had a company come in, do tree trimming and things like that, and I had his tree removed because big chunks of it were falling down in his house, and it was just dangerous.
Well, good. Well, I appreciate that you're taking responsibility and being a good neighbor, and that is why I'm giving you until February 7th to come into compliance, okay?
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That's the last one that I have. Am I missing anything?
No, they must have came in late.
Okay.
Or everybody that's here that didn't sign in, were you sworn in?
No, I think they came in just after that.
Alright, but all I'm saying is, that were you here when we stood up and got sworn in? Ma'am, were you sworn in? Okay, can y'all raise your right hand? about giving the truth and nothing but the truth? Okay. What's your case, what's your case here? This is the only case you have that's in compliance. Yeah, this was Andrew's case. It's now in compliance, so you're good to go. Okay? Okay? Okay, this is on page 18, it's Steve's case. Ma'am, what is your name?
Gina Dixon.
Gina, what is it?
Gina, G-E-N-N-A.
Okay. Okay. It's the bottom on page 18, last case on.
All right, I have page 18, I have Officer Willis, and the property address I have is 709 West Crescent Drive. And who do I have? Sorry, ma'am, I'm sorry, ma'am, what was your name?
Gina Dixon.
Gina Dixon. Are you the property owner?
No, my fiance.
Okay. Officer Willis.
Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LC 20-04872. Address is 709 West Crescent Drive. Owner is listed as Freddie West. Violation that's listed in the agenda, which is posting of building numbers. Date of violation was September 30th, 2020, to be corrected by October 10th, 2020. Reinspection was conducted on November 2nd, 2020. Result was the violation exists. A photo was taken on January 5th, 2021, which shows the violation exists still. City recommends compliance by January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
All right, Ms. Dixon, go ahead.
I spoke to him, it's for the, numbers. I thought they did it yesterday when I called him for the reinspection, but I told him I have it done today when I leave here.
Okay.
Okay. Just need the building numbers on it.
No. Let me ask a follow-up question. Officer Willis, is that the only violation was for the?
No, ma'am, I already spoke to already. There's some brown tarps that were put up that need to come down, and then just the property needs cleaned.
Okay.
I had a companion case on the lot next to it, and that was cleaned.
On our agenda, we're only showing the posting of building numbers as the violation. So was there another notice of violation with the other?
There was a notice it was for 703 West Crescent Drive, but I did an affidavit of compliance before the hearing. They cleaned up that area.
It sounds like very good, but it sounds like, at least for this matter, then it sounds like you're going to take care of the posting of the building numbers today?
Yes, ma'am, I thought they did it yesterday, but I didn't.
No worries. Then, for the record, we will go ahead and give until January 18th to come into compliance. Otherwise, there would be a $50 per day fine for every day not in compliance. Go ahead and take care of it today. And is there anything else? Officer Willis?
No, ma'am.
Very good. Thank you. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that came in late? All right. So I was actually, you guys let me know what you think, but I was thinking about doing this a little differently this time, and would it be faster to have go officer by officer instead of through the book, or is that bad? What would you prefer? What would you prefer, Tammy? I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Before we adjourn, then I need to go back and make sure that every case.
If it's easier for you to go case by case, we'll do it.
We can do it that way, that's fine. You want to do it Officer Bob?
I want to make your life easier.
Okay, that's fine, we can try it that way.
It's all about you, Tammy.
We'll try it that way, see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay. Do I have a volunteer to go first? Alright, it's Willis, right? Do you have your page
Yes.
numbers? Do you have your page numbers handy?
Yes, I'm getting them right now. Might actually be good, hang on a second. Oh, I got the North Florida's, okay. Page 14. I have two cases. 4001 North Florida Avenue.
Alright. Case number LCE 20-03709. Do you want to go ahead and announce it? Do you want to announce it for the record?
Sure, Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LCE 20-03709. Address is 4001 North Florida Avenue. Owners are listed as Ader and Adel Neves. The ordinance is about fence condition. Date of violation was August 10th, 2020, to be corrected by September 9th, 2020. Reinspection was conducted on November 9th, 2020. Violation still existed. Photo was taken on January 5th, 2021, which shows the violation still exists. City recommends compliance by February 7th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Alright, I will go ahead and give the owners until February 7th, 2021 to comply or a $50 per day fine. Thank you.
Okay, and then the next one is right underneath that. Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. Case number is LCE 20-03710. Address is 4001 North Florida Avenue. Owners is listed as Ader and Adel Neves. Violation is overgrowth, junk, trash, and debris. Date of violation was August 10th, 2020. It was to be corrected by August 25th, 2020. Reinspection was done on November 12th, 2020. Resulting in violation still exists. The photo was taken on January 5th, 2021, which shows the violation still exists. City recommends compliance by January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I'm sorry, what was the date of compliance?
January 18th, 2021.
Alright. I'll go ahead and impose that the owners must be in compliance until January, before January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine.
Which one?
Page 19.
19 on top? Okay. Get myself confused. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. Stephen Willis, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. The case number is LCE 20-04965. Address is 314 Union Drive. The owner is listed as Florinda L. Roque. Violation is ordinance 3947, open storage and junk. Date of violation was October 05, 2020. I'll just go through ignore the rest because an affidavit of compliance before the hearing was done on January 5th, 2021. So there's no order for that.
I'm sorry. So it did come into compliance?
Yes, ma'am, it did on the 5th of January.
Okay, hold on just a second. Case is closed. When you go back, we need that.
Oh, I didn't do it. Oh, I didn't do it? Oh, okay, my bad.
Case is closed.
Okay.
My bad. I'm trying to keep you on your toes, Tammy. And then 305 Hennessy was closed out, right? All right, good. All right, good. Thanks.
Is that all for you?
Mark, you gonna come up? Mark has one.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My case, I don't have a page number for you guys.
24.
Page 24. Oh,
Mark Yelnick, City of Lakeland, case number PER 20-030709. Property address is 644 West 12th Street. Owner is, as stated on the agenda, and/or Ellison James. Violation is for Florida Building Code Section 105.1, permits required. The date of violation was 7/14/2020, to be corrected by 8/13/2020. The reinspection date was on 7/27/2021. As of yesterday, the violation still exists. City asks for compliance by 1/18/2021, or a $50 a day fine be imposed.
The owners have as a rule that until January 18th, 2021 to come into compliance, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
First one's on page 3.
I'm sorry, what was that page number?
It's on page 3, at the top.
Alright. Very good. Officer Povey, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-00483. Address is 1776 Bayview Drive. Owner is Maxine Wilson. Violation of ordinance 4134, Section 1, derelict vehicle. The date of the violation was January 16, 2020, to be corrected by January 26, 2020. Re-inspected on 11/18/2020. Photos and re-inspection on January 5th, 2021, to show that the property remains in violation. The city recommends compliance by January 18th, 2020, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Alright, I will find that the owners have until January 18th to come into compliance, or a $50 per day fine will be imposed.
The next one's going to be at the bottom of page 5.
Page 7, oh, excuse me, page 5, sorry.
Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-01685. Address is 2461 Chestnut Woods Drive. Owner is Ameria 2 LLC. Violations of Ordinance 3947, Chapter 3, Section 307.4, care of premises, overgrowth, open storage, and junk. The date of the violation was March 3rd, 2020, to be corrected by March 18th, 2020. Re-inspected on November 13th, 2020. Photos and re-inspection on January 5th, 2021 show that the property remains in violation. City recommends compliance by January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine will be imposed.
I do find that there has been a violation. The owner has until January 18th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
Next is page 7 at the top. Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-01787. Address is 503 Pickens Street. Owner is Harry Oldman. Violation is ordinance 4134, Section 1, derelict vehicle. Date of the violation is March 9th, 2020, to be corrected by March 19th, 2020, re-inspected on November 13th, 2020. Photos and re-inspection on January 5th, 2021 show that the property remains in violation. City recommends compliance by January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Alright, do you find that there is still an ongoing violation? The owners have until January 18th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
Alright, next one's at the bottom. Next one's at the bottom of page 10.
Okay.
Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-03037. Address is 1155 Blossom Circle North. Owners are Orangewood Community HOA. Violation is ordinance 4134, derelict vehicle, and section 5.17.3.6, parking of commercial vehicles, trailers prohibited. The date of the violation is 07/10/2020, to be corrected by 08/20/2020, re-inspected on 11/20/2020, re-inspected and photos taken on January 5th, 2021. Violation still remains. City recommends compliance by January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that there's an ongoing violation. The owners have until January 18th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
Next will be at the top of page 15. Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-04007. Address is 904 Harmony Hills Loop. The owners are listed in the agenda. Violations, ordinance 5425, section 2.3.2, prohibited use. The date of the violation is 8/24/2020, to be corrected by 9/03/2020, re-inspected on 11/12/2020. Photos and re-inspections on January 5th, 2021 show that the property remains in violation. City recommends compliance by January 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Okay, I do find that there is an ongoing violation that exists. The owners have until January 18th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
Next one is last case on page 16 at the bottom. Daniel Povey, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-04353. Address is 3922 Sunnybrook Lane. Owners are the Francis H. Surridge Rehabilitational Living Trust. Violation is ordinance 4134, section 1, derelict vehicle. The date of the violation is 09/08/2020, to be corrected by 09/18/2020, re-inspected on 11/12/2020, and on January 6th, 2021, show that the property remains in violation. City recommends compliance by 1/18/2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that there is an ongoing violation that exists. The owners have until January 18th to comply. The tag says that it's been there since 2004, so the owners will be fined $75 per day for every day not to compliance. Again, they have until January 18th to comply.
Thank you.
Thank you.
tab 1 on page 5. Soper and Loop Road. Very code enforcement officer for the city of Lakeland. Case LCE 20-01540655 North Soper and Loop Road. The owner is listed as Canara Group LLC. Violation ordinance 4131, section 1, awnings and marquees. Date of violation February 26, 2020. To be corrected by March 27, 2020. Reinspection on November 2nd, 2020 shows the violation remains. City recommends compliance by February 7th, 2021, or $50 per day fine being imposed.
Officer Berry, is that an open business?
Yes, it is. There's a gas station right next to it on the same parcel. That's their car wash. It's a separate building.
It's active? The business is, I mean.
The gas station is, I'm not sure if the car wash works or not. The gas station.
And your recommendation was February 7th, right? Or $50. All right. I do find that there's a violation that exists. The owners have until February 7th to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed. Thank you. Thank you. Is that your last one? Good. All right. Good.
Page 11.
Right.
Ready?
I am ready.
Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-03151, address 2715 Providence Road. Owner is listed as Eco Village Real Estate LLC. Violations of Section 86-36B, Section 86-36A, Section 86-33C. Date of violations, July 17, 2020, to be corrected by July 26, 2020, reinspection on November 9, 2020, and pictures taken January 4, 2021 show that violations remain. The city would recommend compliance by February 7, 2021, or a $50 per day fine would be imposed.
I do find that there is an existing violation. The owners have until February 7th to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
Then the second one on page 12.
Okay.
Angela Kaiser, Code Enforcement Officer of the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-03162, address 1015 Griffin Road, owner is Griffin Park Apartments Trust. Violations are for Section 86-36B, Section 86-36A. Date of violations, July 7th, or correction, July 17th, 2020, to be corrected by July 23rd, 2020, with reinspection on November 9th, 2020, and pictures taken January 4th, 2021, showing that violations remain. This time, the city would recommend compliance by February 7th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine would be imposed.
I'm sorry, your recommendation was for February 7th?
Yes.
All right. Do you find that a violation exists, and the owners have until February 7th to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed? Can I just say something? Because if you ever want to retire, you should totally do call the auctioneers, because you talk so fast. I love it though. Thank you. Have a good one. All right, good morning.
Good morning, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Well,
All right, what is your first case page number?
My first case is going to be on page 7 in the middle, Alejandro Ave. My apologies.
Tab 4.
Page 4 at the top.
All right, Officer Dozier, go ahead.
Andrew Dozier, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-01190. Address is 912 Augusta Street. The owner is Barnes E.V. Estate. The violation is for exterior of the house. The date of violation is February 13, 2020, to be corrected by 4/13/2020. A reinspection on 11/16/2020 and photos taken on 1/4/2021 show that the property is still in violation. This time, the city would recommend compliance by 3/9/2021 or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Alright, I do find that a violation exists. Multiple violations exist as stated in the affidavit. The owners have until March 9th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
It's going to be on page 5. It's going to be on page 5 at the top. Andrew Dozer, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-01351. The address is 718 East Lime Street. The owner is Roy and Celia Superstar for violations of exterior of the house. The date of violation is 2/20/2020. To be corrected by 4/20/2020. A reinspection on 11/20/2020 and photos taken on 1/4/2021 shows that the violation still exists. This time the city would recommend compliance by 3/9/2021 or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that the violations as stated in the affidavit exist. The owners have until March 9th to come into compliance, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
Now we're going to be on page 7. Now page 7.
that?
Now page 7. Yeah.
Alright. Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. Andrew Dozer, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-01905. Address is 1038 Omohundro Ave. This time we have a summary disposition signed and handed over.
So to be clear, do we need to announce that for the record?
You don't have to read it.
Just for the record that we have the summary signed.
I do show that there has been a summary disposition signed, so there is no longer an issue. Thank you.
The next page, in the middle.
Page 8. Officer Dozer, go ahead.
LCE 20, Andrew Dozer, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-02006. The address is 648 West 4th Street. The owner is Dane Black for violations of housing. Date of violation is 3/12/2020, corrected by 5/11/2020. Reinspection on 11/12/2020 and photos taken on 1/4/2021 show that the violation still exists. This time the city would recommend compliance by 2/7/2021 or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that the violations as stated in the affidavit are continuing to exist, so the owners have until February 7th to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine for every day thereof.
Page 11 down, second one down.
Alright.
That's AOC.
Myrtle?
303 West Myrtle.
Yes.
It's AOC.
I've got 501 North Florida's in AOC.
I have that one as well.
Hold on just a second.
Actually, yes, you are correct. You did bring it in compliance yesterday, I believe. My apologies. Yeah, my apologies.
No worries.
Again. Alrighty, we're gonna go on page 16, Pennsylvania Ave.
4189?
Yes, ma'am.
Case number?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a, summary.
My apologies again. Let's get a summary.
Come on, man. I'm just teasing. We're all just in this together.
It's actually Dennis's fault. We're gonna go page 21. Andrew Dozer, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-05194. Address is 1038 Omohundro Ave. This time we have a summary disposition signed.
We do have a summary disbursement, okay?
Correct.
Very good. Anything else?
I'm gonna go page 23 at the top. It's gonna be for a repeat violation.
All right.
Andrew Dozer, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, case number LCE 20-05519. The address is 1036 Kettles Ave. The owner is EZ Home Solutions, LLC. The violation is for overgrowth. The date of violation was 11/3/2021, to be corrected by 11/3/2020. The violation was 11/3/2020, to be corrected that same day, because it is a repeat violation. A reinspection on 11/16/2020 showed that the violation still exists. At this time, the violation has been closed. So the city would recommend that we impose a fine of $50 per day effective 11/3/2020 and run until 11/12/2020 for a total of 9 days of noncompliance, totaling $450. Plus administrative fees of $105.
Just total fine. There's nobody here, so you just do the total fine.
Total fine of $555.78.
$450. You don't do the admin fees.
Correction. $450.
Okay. I'm gonna try to I do find that there was a repeat violation. The owners will be fined $50 per day for said violation from November 3rd, 2020, running through November 12th, 2020, for a total of 9 days. And the total fines to the owners will be $450. Excellent.
That was very well. You should.
I just do this for a living. What's next? Very good. Thank you. Have a good day. Very good. Thank you. Have a good day.
Top of page 6. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. This is case LCE 20-01756. The address 237 Westover Street. The owners are Martha Ortega and Sergio Andre. Property was cited for violation of ordinance 3947, chapter 3, section 307.4 for care of premises. Date violation was March 4, 2020, to be corrected by March 19, 2020. Reinspection on November the 16th. Photo taken on January the 6th, 21 shows the violation remains. City would recommend compliance by January the 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Okay, I do find that the violations as stated in the affidavit still exist. The owners have until January 18th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
Okay, page 10. Second one down. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. This case LCE 20-02718. The address 1729 Sylvester Road. The owners are Osmond Centra. Property was cited for violation of ordinance 3947, chapter 3 of the Housing Code, with the violations as listed. Date violation was June 17, 2020, to be corrected by August 16, 2020. Reinspection on November the 16th. There has been no call for a reinspection. The city's recommendation is to bring property in compliance by February the 7th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that there is multiple violations as stated in the affidavit. The owners have until February 7th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed.
Bottom of page 17. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, this case LC 20-04462, the address 2040 Sylvester Road. The owners are Carl and Julie Cunny. The property was cited for violation of ordinance 5425 for parking of a commercial vehicle on residential property. The date violation was September the 10th, 2020, to be corrected by September the 20th, 2020. The property is now in compliance. I spoke to Ms. Kunk yesterday, advising her she's out of town, but I advised her that we would be asking for a finding that a violation did exist for repeat violation status.
Okay.
And that's our recommendation.
And, I'm sorry, you said that the recommendation was to impose the fine, not to?
No,
not to.
imposing the fine, we're just asking that a violation did exist, past the deadline. The property is now in compliance, but we just need a finding that it did occur.
I hear you. My apologies. All right, I do find that the property is now in compliance. Though a violation did exist past the date to be corrected by, but per the officer's recommendation, no fine will be imposed. Thank you. Thank you.
Page 18. Top of the page, Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, this case LC 20-04524, the address 2903 Redwood Avenue. The owner is 2903 Redwood Land Trust. The property was cited for violation of ordinance 4134, section 1, derelict vehicle. Date of violation was September 15, 2020, to be corrected by September 25, 2020. Reinspection on November the 18th, and photos taken on January the 6th shows the violation remains. The city would recommend compliance by January the 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that there is a violation that exists. The owners have until January 18th to come into compliance, or there will be a $50 per day fine for every day thereafter.
Case right below that, Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, this case LC 20-04533, the address 3571 Raintree Court. The owners are Dogwood Properties and George Tyson. The property was cited for section 86-2 for lot clearing overgrowth. Date of violation was September 15th, to be corrected by September 30th, 2020. Reinspection on November the 18th, and photos taken in compliance by January the 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Okay, fine. I do find that the violation still exists. The owners have until January 18th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed thereafter.
Case below that, Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland, this case LCE 20-04630. The address is 3546 Roselaw Lane. The owners are Raymond and Mary Del Giorno. The property was cited for violation of ordinance 5425 for conditions of the fence. The date violation was September the 18th, 2020, to be corrected by October the 18th, 2020. Reinspection on November, and photos taken on January the 6th, 2021 shows that the violation remains. They have installed some new fence panels, but there's still some damage that needs to be repaired. The city's recommendation is to comply by February the 7th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
Okay. I do find that the violation continues to remain, that the property owners are making progress. So I will give them until February 7th to comply, or a $50 per day fine will be imposed.
Page 23. Dennis Browning, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lakeland. This is case LCE 20-0555. The address is 1802 Petersburg Avenue. The owner is Victor Tapia. The property was cited for violation of ordinance 5425 for parking of the tow truck on residential property. The date of violation was November the 4th, 2020, to be corrected by November the 14th, 2020. Reinspection on November the 16th, and photos taken on January the 6th, 2021 shows the violation remains. City would recommend compliance by January the 18th, 2021, or a $50 per day fine be imposed.
I do find that the violations as stated in the affidavit still exist. The owners have until January 18th, 2021 to comply, or there will be a $50 per day fine imposed thereafter. Sure, thank you, have a good day. Sure, thank you, have a good day.
We are done.
Tammy, do you need to double check that we've called everything?
All right,
Then I will go ahead and adjourn. Thank you, guys.